What up? What up? What up, y'all? Today we'll be discussing being black in America. I have a few guests, special guests, but uh, these few brothers are on the front lines, and we'll be discussing are people being targeted and distracted during this world pandemic. We'll be just discussing Ahmaud Arbery and some other things going on across the nation. Uh, On February 23rd, 25-year-old Ahmaud Arbery was shot and killed while jogging down the street outside of Brunswick, Georgia. And this case wasn't getting a lot of attention until the last day or so. And Vice President Joe Biden tweeted, "It's time for a swift, full, and transparent investigation into this murder." And you guys will get a chance to weigh in whether you agree or you disagree, or maybe you guys have some solutions or some other topics we could talk about. So I want to thank Kenya Ware for putting this panel together and helping move KevMac videos into a more positive direction. I've always said we're more than just about the history. We're more than just the LA culture or the gang culture and the gang history. And tonight we'll be putting that on display for you guys. So once again, I want to thank Kenya Ware for putting this together. Thanks, Trey Rob. And here go Tariff, Wu-Tang's manager out of Park Hill, New York City. We got Blue out of Long Beach checking in with us. And we got Loco, my co-host out of San Antonio. You guys want to, either one of you guys want to kick it off, Blue or Tariff?
I'll let my brother Blue go on.
Okay, let's go, Blue. I don't know if you heard my introduction, but if you didn't, I explained we'll be talking about some of the black injustices going on in America right now. And we don't want our people distracted with this coronavirus and all the other things when we still got some serious things going on that's affecting the black community and black people.
And real quick, the reason why I said Blue kick it off, right? Because for anyone who knows or was able to see, the brother posted something that was very powerful earlier today, or I don't know if it was yesterday, Blue, but that's why I said that'd be a good segue into what we're talking about.
Yeah, the reason it got me real infuriated because, you know, that was my first time really seeing that. But outside of that, I've been seeing all the other stuff go on. Like I've been watching, I seen the Jews congregate. I seen the police pull up on them, tell them to be careful. And then I seen, out here in Huntington Beach, they you got a governor's order saying, no congregating, no being in those public places, and you got these people violating it. Then at the state capitol, you got people running up on the police with guns, armed militia. You know what I mean? And I mean, they only doing what they supposed to do, But at the same time, our people being antagonized and dehumanized, as well as hunted down in these streets, and nobody's saying nothing. But now, the part that had me hot was you got entertainers, you got celebrities, you got people with big platforms, bro, and they not speaking their voice out when it comes to certain things like this. But now you take the ALS challenge, the COVID-19 relief, and you take all of these other causes that's inclusive of everybody, but the detriment that's being done is specifically towards us and our people. But they won't single this out and allocate no resources, no funds, or even just their voice or their platform to highlight these situations that's going on in our community. So I'm like, what they there for? You know what I mean? If they not gonna use the platform in a constructive way.
Right, I agree.
So it had me hot, bro.
Nah, I agree, and like I said, that's why I said I really it was heartfelt what you said earlier in the post. And I think that, when we looking at this, and it's been said, right, even with the magnitude, if we even go back to whether we're talking about Trayvon Martin, Tamir Rice, and a host of all the other brothers that died at the hands of the police or whoever, you know what I mean? We have to look at, and I know it's been said, is how we allowed ourselves to be desensitized to that, you know what I mean? And it should never be that type of case to where any of this is ever being desensitized to where we just find this as the norm. And, I take this to a situation, I think me and Blue talked about it before. I remember calling one of my homeboys in Chicago and telling them, man, you saw the news, y'all just had, certain amount of killings over the weekend, this and that. And, his statement to me was like, clean up in aisle 3, you know what I mean? And keep it moving. Like this is the norm, you know what I mean? So whether it's Chicago, whether it was LA, whether it's New York, wherever it is, when we allow this to become the norm, you understand what I'm saying? To where we accepting this, that's a problem. You know what I mean? So that goes to whether it's, us on the front lines or in the streets or what have you, all the way up to, where we're talking about celebrities, athletes, and so forth. You know what I mean? Like this to see that, you know what I mean? For one, you have to put your own, if you have children even, you got to put your children in that place to be able to say, what if that happened to one of your children? You know what I mean? To where they were gunned down like that. You know what I mean? And then at the same time, we have to look at it like, something that clicked in my head, we see everything being portrayed so much in the media, social media, of everyone trying to go out their way to be so gangster and so forth, right? But my just like the brother said in regards to athletes and entertainers, where are all these gangsters when this is happening? It's been said, I think Jay said it in one of his lines about even in Florida. He said, you can't say nothing to me until y'all handle business on old boy in Florida that killed Trayvon Martin. But y'all running around talking about y'all putting in all this work, but y'all ain't did nothing to him, So I think I don't want to get too long-winded, but I just wanted to add to that.
All right, Loco, you got something you want to say?
I think it's a little early right now for me, man. I just want to soak, let these guys go, man, and stuff, and then I'll come in. I'll chime in a minute.
All right, welcome to the platform, Big U. Glad to see you here. I don't know if you've seen Blue Spill and Tariff Spill, but you already know the topic, so you could jump in whenever you feel free, bro.
Yeah, the topic. I posted a video that a lot of people seen earlier, and then I get the question. I got the question today. Yeah. Anyway, first let me say, it's always a pleasure to be in the presence of some strong brothers, strong-minded individuals and leaders. And I hate for us to be sitting down for this situation. And I pray that we can get together sometime soon in better light. But it's needed for us. It's needed for us to get together. The system hasn't changed. The education of the policing hasn't changed. And it's time for us as men and black men to stand up and say that, it's not necessary. It's not necessary to we be treated a certain way, while other people aren't. But we do too, on the same time, I want to say this, have to bear responsibility for our own code of conduct. We may see some incidents where the conduct is bad on their part, but then this conduct too on ourselves just not bad as bad also at the same time. So I just want to say that,
Right. JR, welcome to the platform, man. You want to introduce yourself? Can't hear you, bro. I guess he can't hear us. JR.
Hello, hello.
Yeah, introduce yourself, bro.
I'm not
Okay.
hearing audio.
He's having a few problems, man. So Blue, you wanna pick up again?
Yeah, I want to add to what Big U said. That's true. That's why I felt like even though we being oppressed by these police and all these and systemically oppressed, but at the same time we got to have self accountability and hold ourselves and those who have platforms and who's supposed to be in the so-called leadership position. We have to hold them accountable because we empower them. And like Big U said, we understand the full dynamics and the full scope of this thing and how it goes. That's why we got to do our part as well.
Right.
I want to say this. Look, I want to say this. If we're gonna break, if we want to break it down, I think we should break it down to topics, right? So if we break it down to topics, we're talking about celebrities and the voices that celebrities have. You know, speaking of issues, I was watching the thing on Michael Jordan, right? But I myself have been confronted with those issues too, to where you make money, you get money in a certain way, and you tend not to want to offend other people, but you be caught at a crossroad. So our people tend to not want to say nothing or voice their opinion, and I think that we too should guard and protect our people who have a voice, and in understanding that sometimes they may not be able to speak on these things, and that's where we speak. That's where you come in as a leader and you speak for that person, because that person may become a voiceless. I have always looked at celebrities or certain people who are thrust in that light because they play sports, and they say that I'm not a role model. But I think that to be untrue, that you really are. You are a role model, and you bear a responsibility to speak, because we weren't volunteer slaves in this nation. You know what I mean? And we have to conduct ourselves in the manner that this country gonna always look at us as a people who were once enslaved, and a people who didn't offer nothing to this country. You know, and we have to look at what role the media plays and what role the social media plays in us being able to show the world what's happening. Because these platforms right here can actually be used as instrument of change. We can use these platforms. And when you got people like myself who's able to put a video up and it go viral, and then next thing you know, in a couple of hours, you see major networks is putting these videos up. That means that we do have a power and we do have a voice, and we need to recognize that. And our celebrities need to recognize that they also have a power. You don't have to come stand on no picket lines, but you still need to voice it. And we need to be able to understand and say sometimes I can understand that he don't want to say nothing on this subject and not come down on them, but at the same time, hold them. But if they go speak on something else, because I have a nonprofit right now, and ain't none of these celebrities ever gave us no numerous amount of money to do nothing meaningful in the community. Kenya Ware came out to help us. He lied. Brother ain't came back and did nothing. I ain't been able to reach him, his people, and do none of that. You know what I'm saying? But hey, I'm not mad at the brother. I'm not gonna do nothing to him, but that's just a prime example. But they're gonna give everything they have to these white outlets and these white platforms. They're not gonna give us nothing, man, because they've been mentally trained to not trust us. You know
Or
what I
not
mean?
help us. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Not help us at all. You know, that's some of the things we was going through in Chicago. Can y'all hear me out there?
Yeah, if you
Yes,
can
sir.
speak a little
Yes, sir.
louder,
So
it'd be better.
that's some of the things.
Yeah, we hear you now.
Chicago, during the All-Star weekend, right? You know, we could have clowned in the city, right? We could have clowned on a lot of these celebrities and All-Stars. We decided to show them some black love and just see who was looking out for the shorties, right? We know you're gonna do the galas, the media event, the celebrity events, but who's really hosting these basketball camps for the shorty, right? Who's really out there looking out for the less fortunate? Now, one would expect that our athletes, our entertainers, because they come from here, that they'll have a mindset to do it. That's the furthest from the truth. One. Two, these people play games. You know, they be the same guys from the hood. They get a little celebrity, get a paycheck. Every time you push on them about doing something for the hood, you know, they got people around them making it like they finna give you a fair case for blackmail or extortion. You feel me? You know, so we have to be careful how we walk that line. That's why we say, like you, Big U, their voice is so powerful. Their platform is so powerful. You know, we just recently had some Chicago artists get out here and do PSAs because our folks clowning, right? Right? Shorty and them ain't trying to quarantine. They ain't trying to hear nothing, right? You know, they so caught up on social media, and I tell people you got to look at it. Like there was an incident in New York with the Hasidic Jews in a rabbi funeral, right? And then I think it was right up the street in another borough. The police got into it with some folks at a black funeral, beat the girl, beat the boy, the minor, and the young people are sharing this video because they see the tale of two worlds, right? And so our young people are acclimated to the degree that they know these artists ain't doing nothing. They know these entertainers ain't gonna do nothing for them. And they clear that the real people out here who supporting them are activists and the leaders in the community who come from where they come from.
Yeah, let me circle back to something Big U said and touched on, right? In regards to celebrities, athletes, and so forth, right? And that's one, yeah, we do need to understand that there's an approach we need to have in order to get them to come to the table. You know what I mean? Instead of just jumping down on their head at first, sometimes, you know, it takes certain enlightenment or so forth. You know what I mean? So I think that's the case too. You know what I mean? Whether it's they just ignorant of the fact of not knowing how to partake and participate in what we're dealing with, you know, but they definitely need to, you know what I mean? We need to make sure that there's a balance there in how we approach them as well to get them to come to the table. Because what we don't want to do is create disunity at the same time. You know, if our goal is to create unity, like he said, and another powerful fact that he made was that not everybody's going to be on that front line. You know, somebody's going to be on the computer. Somebody's going to be the one.
I agree with you,
because somebody's going to be doing this. You know what I mean? But you do have to play a role. That's what we need to say. You know what I mean? If we have brothers that's on the front line, then we need to make sure that we are financing them on the front line, or we're supporting them on the front line, and they have the means and tools while they're on the front line. Second is that, you know, when we're dealing with these celebs and everything, you know, if we go back, you know, and a lot of times it's like we're trying to reinvent the wheel, as they say. You know, we don't need to reinvent this wheel necessarily. You know what I mean? There's certain things that we could do to enhance it, but the platform and has been shown to us. If we go back to the 60s, to the 70s, and we see Tim Browns and we see all these brothers that stood up. Now, a lot of them weren't on the front line, but they stood up when they could, and they stood up with their financial backing and support. And you know, all we have to do is go back to that to see why they divided us. You know what I mean? Obviously, they implemented things to divide us, whether it be class division, whatever the case may be. And we need to get back to being unified in a sense to where, you know, we need to just look back to what's already been put before us. You know what I mean? The platform's been there to where we can work together. Like I said, you know, we don't all have to be on the front line, but you need to be in the game with us to get this, you know, to make sure that we all are in it, you know, and safe.
Right.
Let me ask Big U and
sir.
Tariff
Yes,
a
sir.
question.
Yes, sir. You know, one of the things I was sharing with Brother Blue, you know, this week, you know, we've been pulling folks down across the city to come down back to public housing, right? Sometimes we forget that we have poor folks in affluent communities, right? And I was kind of disheartened that a lot of PPE was being given out across the city, but nobody was coming to the hood, like what we still call the projects, right? Like Cabrini Green, you know, that still exists. And one of the things that Shorty made me know was the reason why they, you know, really fuck with it, excuse my French, It's because we don't forget where we come from. No matter what we doing in life, we always come back home, right? And Shorty them always remind us, if you can't feed us, you can't lead us, right? If you ain't becoming bearing no gifts, an economic alternative, they not trying to hear it. You know, and if you ain't on the front line addressing issues that pertinent to them, like the violence against them by the system, they not trying to hear it. You know, so we tend to try to not just give Shorty them the spiel and fight for them, but put them in a position where they can join us and fight. And that's why we spent the last 10, 15 years making it our business to raise up young activists who was 15 years younger than us so that they can also teach us, because there's a lot we can learn from young folk. You know, I always tell people it's a lot you can learn from young people.
Well, let me ask you guys on the panel, what power do we have in not supporting some of these people in music? Like as far as stop buying their music and stop going to their concerts. Would that have any effect on how they look at us?
K-Man, let me say this, right? Because I think we taking on the wrong tone, right? Cause see, I watch a lot of people speak, and I think we taking on the wrong tone. We making a mistake that we always make. The problem is not the celebrity here. The problem is the officers and the way that we're being portrayed in the media, and the way that we're being portrayed in our community, and the way the policing is our community. And that's why I said we need to make sure we put structure to this so we don't get lost and spend 45 minutes indicting our people, our own people who are our champions, who just don't know how to be a champion yet, who haven't grew into that mentality yet. Because we too at one point were lost, but we there. So I don't think that we want to indict our celebrities. We want to look at them like most of them are babies. Most of the people who are on top is within the age of 19 to 20 something, where we were when we were 19 to 20 something. You know what I mean? So we don't want to indict them. We want to spend a ministry of time on trying to empower them and let them know that they old heads are recognizing that they need to speak out.
Right.
So and that was put a lot of limit to that. But we want to know that we are saying too that get with your old head who has an organization that you should be financially empowering before you.
Your sound's going out, Big U. Your sound went out. Come back.
You hear me right now?
Okay, there you go.
So I want to say that what we are faced with is misjustice from a people who have never given us justice. We see the killing of the brother, the lynching of the brother. It's the same. Listen to Trayvon Martin. If you go all the way back, I was just watching on TV a Red Fox show when Red Fox made an analogy to getting killed or beat up by the police. Why are we 50 years later still going through that? In part, that's Big U.
Yeah.
Because of my adding to the ignorance in our community. So we got to take responsibility for that. You know, with what I added to the negativity. So before we do anything, I got to take responsibility and say that what I added contributed and gave them the power to continue to do the things that they're doing in our community. So with that said, with me accepting that responsibility, I use my platform as a tool to wake people up, to drive that inner emotion out of people, to see that we being downtrodden, man, we being mistreated. And it hasn't changed because it's the same mentality from the same people that goes back to Jim Crow days. So I say this: how do we address it? The way we're doing it now is one. We need to get together as the bees in the seas and say, look, GDs and all that all around the nation, on this one day, y'all can't beat us no more. It needs to be something where us as a group, as a people, come together and say, look, man, we all recognize it. 100,000 black men and women at each one of these different city capitals on the same day saying, look, not no more. You got to change the mentality of the policing, which would change, because the guy who listened to the other brother knew the law. So he knew he could go out because he was an ex-cop and kill a black man. So, but now the question is, how many have he already done that before too?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And
yes,
how many of his kind have already done that and got away with it?
yes, sir.
But we need to. And look, man, one thing we all know is nobody respect nothing but the fact that they're gonna get busted in the mouth. And the only thing white people respect is getting busted in the mouth or another white man with a suit on and a tie and he called a lawyer. That's all. So we need to get to that real fast. We need to get to that. And we need to say to our celebrities, if you don't want to voice your opinion, put something behind us being able to attack these dudes legally. And we need to change. We need to change the system. We have to come off this phone, off of this communication here, and we need to be addressing how the law allows the officer to go out and act. And there's he's no discipline. He's only put off. So we need to address that.
Right. And that's what I was gonna go with next. Like,
Man, I just want to say, yeah, I'm in total agreement with that. You know, there is a piece of the media that justifies this ignorance and behavior by these racist white folks, right? There is a system of racism and Jim Crow that protects them. One of the things I always remember was the act is prejudice. The system that protects it is racist. That's what makes it racist, right? When I looked at the shooting, you know, I didn't see the shooting to the day, right? I had refused to watch it, right? But after watching it, it is like, man, this is over and over again, whether they in a uniform or out of a uniform. But there goes the media, how the media would portray it, right? Like, the police can arrive on the scene, know that the murder didn't happen, and they immediately trying to find ways to justify it. Immediately, let me see if he had a reasonable call or if I mean, just the simple fact that there was no charges, whether a video came out or not, tells me what time we in again, right? You can say the Mike Brown, we protested, the Black Lives Matter. We right back at that point today. How? You know what I'm saying? What have we really changed and impacted, right? And so I'm with you, Big U. It's something internally we need to do. You know, if it's just that one day. You know, I remember that one day 20, 30 years ago. I forget how old I am. During the peace treaty in the 90s, right? After the baby got killed behind my building, Dontrell Davis. And the leaders got together and said, that's it, right? That one day, that one event changed the whole earth. And it wasn't just a peace treaty in America. It was a peace treaty with black folks across the globe. So we recognize our power. How do we get back there, Big U? How do we get back?
We got to get. Hey, and let me. And I want to stay there. I want to say this to you. Look, this is what we have to do. I mean, and I'm not saying nothing violent. I'm saying that it's the problem is it's on twofold. We as a people are progressing, and we're not recognizing our progression too. But we as the people, and I'm talking about us, the GDs, the folks, the everybody's, the Crips, the Bloods, haven't spoken like men in our community. Because we have an innate fear also that says, well, however we're getting the paper, it can be interrupted if we look at ourselves and we become a threat. You know what I mean? So we know that.
Mm-hmm.
And they know we know that because they have put that in us. And once your name is on their billboard, you understand that. But what the people are saying is, if you so-called a leader, then man, look here, lead now. And I want to say that to say this, that our people want to see the us's. They want to see the us's. Not so much as the celebrities, but the celebrities that's in those communities, that's a part of this community, need to stand up and ride with the us's. So when we say, look, man, we need to get together and we need to stand up, man. And I'm saying that go stand up, but let's be activists about this. Because we need to start pulling up when this stuff is going on.
Yeah.
We need to start pulling up. And we need to go talk to these captains and these chiefs. And I'm going to say this too. And this is very controversial. You can't fight a man when he's getting ready for war and he's in his war mentality and you not. So it's ridiculous to call yourself going to address these officers when they're in their paramilitary mentality. And their mentality is when they get dressed for war. And our situation in California, I gotta tell you, is a little bit different than all over the place, because now we see racism within the police force, within the brown and black now. And I'm gonna put that out there because I've seen it.
No, that's real talk. That's real.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna put that out there. So we ain't just seeing a lot of racism that's coming towards black people, towards white. We're seeing it coming from our Hispanic officers too now. That's taking on that, that's readily taking on that mentality that's coming out here and doing all kind of stuff, from the tickets to the assaults and all the rest of that stuff, to the game banging 18 and 13 while in their cars, because I've experienced that. So, but if we're going to address it, we need to address everything that's affecting our community. And we ain't going to be able to just side by it, because I have definitely seen that. I have seen these officers pull up in the hood, claiming 13, 18, or whatever they're claiming, right here on the block, and they going back and forth with the little homie. Then guess what? The little homie end up in handcuffs.
Real talk.
So we can't, and Careback is saying real talk because this has affected us in LA.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how it's affecting everybody else everywhere else, but I mean, it's real.
It is.
And it goes with the education. And that too goes back to how these officers are being educated. Their education is, we are a paramilitary force and those are the enemies. Now, when you look at these other nations and these other countries, officers are there to what? Protect and serve. They not the car no more. They not the side of the car that says protect and serve. They not going by that no more. Just like, hey, Blue, you know, you've been in California State Prison. You remember how the California State Prison used to be the correctional institution to re-educate you. They don't do that no more. They not educating you no more in prison no more. You just in prison. They took that off all the prisons. They need to take that protect and serve off of these cars.
Hey, Little Caesar, did you want to speak? First of all, you got your mic off. You have your mic muted, bro, so you won't be able to speak until you take your mic off mute.
All right, is that it?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just had the opportunity to really sit down and watch that video, and like my first impression was like, you know, here we go again. And then when I read some of the background behind the situation, these cats basically, they murdered the young man. Then because the father was a cop, he had help from the district attorney, from other cops and everybody who what they do is they don't testify, they test the lie. So basically, like the other brother said, they're already in the strategy room trying to find a sliver or something that they can use to say that this brother was, just because he was running away, it was a crime or something. So, the thing that I look at and I'm listening is that what's happening is we're more reactive than proactive. So that every time something like this happens, we're reacting again instead of learning something from the other times it happened, coming up with a strategy to deal with the next time it happens so that we not behind the curve like we are now. Just, we're talking about it, but it happened. So we don't have a strategy on, how these brothers, the ones that are the closest to the incident in Georgia, they should be organizing right now, coming up with some type of response or something to, this murder that happened right on their doorstep and can happen to any one of them. So we're always reacting to stuff rather than being proactive. And that's what the thing that when we look back on what the Panthers were more proactive, they had their guns. They was willing to die. They was willing to shoot back. They were willing to do, whatever it took. So we're having a discussion, but here we are, again, and we behind the curve because we didn't have a strategy dealing with the next time this happens. And here it is in our face again. Same stuff that the brother Colin Kaepernick lost his job, lost his livelihood for standing up for something like this. And here we go again.
I want to add to that what you said about Colin Kaepernick. The thing with that had me kind of hot about that was, first of all, and it go back to what we all agree upon, especially what you said, Big U. We dealing with a man who has no heart, no spirit, and he's so heartless and vicious. He would take a kid, put a horse on this side, one on this side, make the whole village come out and split him in half, just to put fear in people. So understand the mentality of the man we dealing with. He only understand you and respect you if you own jihadist a kamikaze mode, because he ain't willing to give up his like you willing to give up yours. So the same mentality that we took when we was over there going across town, we have to have that same mentality going at these people right here, dealing with these same animals. And then back to what Big U was talking about with the police and the black and brown divide. You know what I mean? Because we got an over 35-year war going on in our city with that black and Hispanic thing in Long Beach. So my thing is this: is that what they've done is what we should have done. We've encouraged our little homies. No, it ain't cool to be this. It ain't cool to be that. But they filter their homeboys into the system as police officers and all kind of other cadre in different positions of politics and power and all kind of other positions where we shunning our little homeboys like, oh no, that ain't cool. That ain't cool. You know what I mean? So we just got to understand the mentality of the man that we're dealing with, and we got to meet him where he at.
Hey, Blue, I don't know if we shot them. They just make it hard for them to get in, bro.
Can you hear me?
They make it hard for them to get in. Can you hear me?
No, you're right. Yeah, I hear you real good.
Yeah. And I mean, it's like this, right? I want to just say this, that we're not late, we're not behind the gate. As far as us addressing these issues, we all have lives. We men, we property owners, we grown men, we got jobs, we got things that we do 24 hours a day. You know what I mean? So it's things that we do. I got a life that I live every day. So I have to address things as they come to me. You know what I mean? So I really, and I was saying about the celebrities, you got people who make their lives off their Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, who make their living. You got people who will suffer if people see that, oh, you becoming an activist. I just want to hear you sing. We have to be conscious of those things. And we also have to be conscious of the fact that when issues come, we have to address those issues. because I know personally I cannot afford to be sitting around because this is not how I pay my bills. But I am willing to go to war or for whatever it is that we need to go for us as a people. But I got to pay my bills.
So excuse me, Big U. So what do you suggest we do, man? Because we're right there on the brink of trying to understand what we need to do to go forward with action. You know what I'm saying? What do we do when these things are brought to us and we realize, like you said, we're ready to take off and we're ready to do whatever part we need to play as men, as black men, for our community? What do you suggest we start out doing?
Let me give you, like I said, one, we need to get together as men in our community, in all our community get together. I don't know how we can create that platform so where they need to see that we talk. That's one. Two, I believe that we have to have a way to where we as men in the community talk to the people who are educating these officers. Because it stems down from them. It stems down from the captains, the lieutenants, the sergeants, and it goes down from there. It goes down and it says that who you hiring and what's the energy that's behind that. Because if you see a lot of these officers and the way they attack these people, it's because they already have something in them that makes them feel like this is my enemy. So if you feel like this is your enemy and that you're going to die every day you go to work, then you need not to be going to work. Then this is not the right job. And what we need to do is we need to translate that to them. If any of your officers are scared to work, then they need not to come over here and work. We need to, as the leaders in the community, stipulate when was the last officer shot in the 60s? When was the last one shot in the Bronx? When was the last one accosted or violated in our community? They haven't been. There are no high rates of officers being assaulted, shot, killed in Black and Latino communities. So the mentality that they are bringing to our community is really unwarranted. So that's one of the things that we need to do. Our group needs to go talk to their group. And I'm gonna say it again.
So what do you
to address a beast when he's at war?
Let me jump in with what Big U said.
I don't know how to say it no other way. I can't say it no other way, but look, man, I'm gonna just tell you like this: mine ain't available.
Let me
Mine ain't available.
Let me add to what Big U said, right? On a couple things, right? One is he made a valid point in regards to, first of all, if we know we all come from these communities, right? We taught not to shoot the police in most cases, or not to harm the police. We taught that for whatever reason, whether it brings heat, whether it messes up us getting money, whatever. We taught. We ain't in the community, like he said, down in police on a regular. Yeah, do it happen? It don't happen. A while? Yeah, it do, but not on a regular basis. That's one. So that's a lie they tell. That they fear is bigger than the fear of them coming in the community. They have a fear that was embedded in them in their upbringing, for one. Right. Two is when we talk about, and this is going back because you brought up the prison, right? I don't know how many on here, but I'm sure we all have, had our experiences with the prison system, right? In the prison system, the answer is in that as well as in the structure we had in those prison systems. Meaning, when I say that, meaning that there was a way that we had to function to make sure that we got along with each other. And if we didn't function that way, then it caused problems for everybody. You know what I mean? So we had certain things. You couldn't go over here and do something that was going to be destructive for the whole. And if we take it on the streets, and where I've heard many of my brothers is on the streets, whether it is in LA, let's say, where a brother goes out and do a drive-by or whatever in another hood, come back to the hood, don't say nothing. So now that leaves everybody vulnerable for something, an action that took place. So we need to look at it like that too. The experiences and the structure that we've had from those prison experiences is valid even out here on these streets. Thirdly, and I'm gonna say this without saying it, right? There's 3 books, and you go look to that. It's the answer of what you asking, Loco, right? Of what we need to do, right?
Right.
One is Soledad Brothers. The second is Blood in My Eye. And the third is Geronimo Pratt, Last Man Standing. Go in those books, and I ain't gonna get into it so it don't get so and y'all follow what I'm saying. Go in the books, and the answers in them books is what we need to be doing. Because if you look at it from a perspective of what George L. Jackson was preaching, right? The Panthers took from George Jackson of what he was preaching and implemented even their system. That's why they began when the brother Lil Caesar said about the pro-activism. So we need to get to the point where we do have brothers where, you know, I see these videos, right? All over the nation taking place, man, where they do us dirty, man. Dirty. Oh, yeah. You got 150 people standing around videoing, man. When it gonna come to the point, first of all, if we understand the law, right? If I'm correct, at some point we can make a citizen's arrest on a police officer, if I'm correct.
Right.
If that brother doing harm to somebody that is not fighting him, what do we do? Do we keep sitting around filming it? Or what's gonna take place?
Right.
The bottom line, to be honest, man, they only respect fear, man. They only respect the same fear being put in them that they try to put in us. And that's the reality. So like I said, anybody listening for us here, and I'm sure the brothers on here have read those 3 books. And if you haven't, read them. There's a lie in it. You know what I mean?
You need to add this one in. The dragon has come.
Hold on 1 minute. Hold on 1 minute. All right, the dragon will come. Caesar, you gave me that good book. Tariff, what was the 3rd book you named?
Geronimo Pratt, The Last Man Standing.
Okay, thank you.
And I'm going to touch on it real quick, right? While I say that, right? Geronimo Pratt, Last Man Standing. And I ain't, like I said, I don't want to get too much, kind of like say
your volume, hey, Tariff, before you start, man, your volume ain't real crisp. I don't know if they can hear you real good, the other guys, but I can't.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Yeah, I think in Geronimo Pratt, Last Man Standing, right?
Yeah, that's it right here.
One of the things that they don't teach us and they don't want us to know, right? But he said there was a secret society, right? That if anybody harmed somebody in our community, they were doing secret night raids and nobody knew who they was. I'm gonna leave it like that.
Yeah.
Read the book. Go ahead, you.
Most definite, man. I appreciate that information. Big U. So we all know, man, that we can't take off with our emotions and do things out of angst and move, a way that wouldn't be conducive, man, to even solving anything. So I understand what Tariff is coming from, man, but then now we know we gotta, it can't go that way. We can't do it that way, man. So what I'm trying to get out of y'all, man, is what America's trying to get and what a lot of the comments. We got to go forward because we've always did this right here, the panels and everybody speaking and great things being said. But then when we tune off at night, it's over. No one else picks up the baton. You don't hear nothing else about it no more, and it goes away, man.
No, I don't think that's I don't think that's true. I think though what happens is let me say this, like I just said before. I got to go to work. And that's what happens. A lot of times Life happens. A lot of times we can get up and say we're gonna do such, and then life happens, and you gotta eat. You know what I mean? And that's the nature of the beast. What we are faced against is a system that's in place that's been more embedded longer than us, that predates us and is longer than us. So it's gonna take more work to fix it. It's not gonna be something because you gotta understand what we are talking about is generational and national and worldly. We're not talking about black men or black people being mistreated just here in America, in Compton, Brooklyn, Atlanta, Georgia. We talking about they doing the same thing to us right now in China. They blaming drugs, they blaming sicknesses, they blaming viruses, they blaming poisons, everything they blaming it on us. So we're not just looking at a system or something right now. It's a bigger picture. So it's a bigger mindset that's gonna take. And to address the books that the brother was talking about, I tend to always talk to people, and they don't realize the educational level of the brothers George Jackson. The brothers was in college. They were in colleges when they were doing the Black Power. They was looking at the world from a different point of view than what we looking at. What birthed the Crips and Bloods and a lot of these different movements was young people, 13, 14, no structure. And I say that to say that to address your question, it's gonna take more because it's more required of us to be able to address a system that's been in play for years. You got dudes who are captains, sergeants, and lieutenants who are still members of the KKK. You know what I mean? Who own and who are the ones who are telling these officers to go out and do what you need to do. So I believe that there are ways that we can address this, and there are ways that go back to what brother said. And I'm gonna say it again. We can't attack a beast in his own element. Once he puts on that suit, once he puts on that paramilitary uniform and straps on that gun and he gets in that car, he becomes a different animal. So you can't address an animal in his own element and talking about taming him when he coming into yours. But you can say as a community, the people who he's policing, no, he can't come back over here no more. Now that is legal and within the rights of the community to say, listen, man, we understand that all the homies is fucking up, and we understand that y'all need to come over here, but that mentality can't come back over here no more. Now that can be done. That mentality can't come back over here. I've seen that done before.
No, that's real.
I've seen that done before.
No, that's real, Big U, because when you talk about the police, we did a thing last year. They did a survey in the city, right? And they found out that they had the KKK had been infused into the Long Beach Police Department. And then, but we did it with an outside entity, and then they tried to take that out. But no, we already got it. They downloaded it and got it, and this is per their research. You know what I mean? Showing that this stuff is systemic and institutional. What's up, Slugg? And we talking about different issues that's going on in the community. And I know you got something to say. How long your daddy been in prison, homie? Tony, I can't hear you.
You got to do the audio.
The audio. What's up, Rockhead?
What's up, man?
Okay. What's up, Tony? What you got to say, Rock?
I'm listening. You know, I got the butt end of it. So I'm just listening. What Big U said in regards to the only way we could truly combat, these idiotic persons who's supposed to protect and serve is to get the community involved in the community, protesting that individual and pushing them out. Other than that, I mean, we could go mano, but how many of us really gonna go mano? I mean, let's keep it real. Over the years, we had ample opportunities and nothing ever happened. So if we got ways to finesse and get the community involved to get that one poison out of here, then we got to utilize what we got to the best of our abilities.
Hey, and I'm gonna add to that. And what I think we made the mistake at in the past was and when you go back to the Kaepernick thing, we empowered them with a situation, and we entrusted them to lead with the rush. You know what I mean? To take the forefront when we got the power. We should, like Big U said, they should be empowering us in any way that they can through a platform or whatever they have to empower us, so that we can continue to move forward with the thing. Because when you look at Kaepernick, he did what? He got the settlement, and then he took a gag order. So he basically sold everybody else out for his own agenda, even though it started off as a collective agenda. So we can't allow leaders and other people like that to take the forefront anymore, is what I think.
I mean, life itself, when Crips and Bloods made enough noise in the 90s, they glorified us. They glorified our supposedly change. Everybody, it was an idol. But once again, as we self-destruct from within ourselves, guess what? We meaningless. We don't exist. And a lot of it got to do with us as a collective, as individuals. And if we can't fix ourselves first, how can we fix anything?
Yes, sir. So that's one area, man, to attack it. Rockhead, can you hear me?
Can I hear you?
I mean, that sounds like something that, you know what I'm saying, that we could probably implement in a whole lot of these neighborhoods, maybe, right? Blue.
Yeah.
Blue, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you real good.
All right. So then my next question to y'all brothers, man, is this, man. So then how do we go about organizing our brothers in our communities, man, the strength and the brothers to really care and really want to make a difference? What do we do to start organizing these brothers together, man, and getting their attention?
We got to do what we're doing. We got to continue to build our platforms up and stay active in the community. And like every brother on here, we already connected and out here, they've been in each other's community, doing the work, seeing the different disparities and the different commonalities that we have. And no matter what state it is, that we all had the same commonality. We all being plagued by the same problem, being attacked by the same oppressors. So the main thing too is kind of like what Big U was saying. We gotta make sure that we economically empower ourselves and create our own systems to where we're able to be self-sustained, so that we can do the work. And not only that, but we can create succession plans. Because when you look at the history of us as blacks in this country, we've never really had the movements. We only had the moments. And once the so-called leaders was, they went another direction, or the real leaders was killed off, that killed the movement. So now we have to prepare our youngers, and we have to pass down the framework of the struggle. And then that goes back to us coming through the different generations that we came through in our communities. We were really the lost generation because we didn't have people to pass down that framework of the struggle. That once our elders got it, the affirmative action in these different jobs with these people, then they left us out. So we was like the lost generations. You know what I mean? And then we got gaffled up, and our fathers got gaffled up and incarcerated, you know what I mean, with all this time. So we was left trying to find our way. And then I know my brother Tony, he can really attest for that, because how long your dad been in the feds, Tony?
We can't. Hey, Tony, hold up. You can't hear you, bro. There you go.
You hear me?
No. No. We can't hear you, bro. Yeah. Hey, brother Tariff.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah, man. So you got a big plate up there, man, with New York City.
Mm-hmm.
What do we do? What do you do to get that message out there, man? And let's start getting these brothers together, man, and start getting these maybe committees together to go to the police stations and the city councils and the different things like that, man. You know, what is gonna be your plan of action?
Well, let me go back to Loco. I wouldn't just so you know, I'm putting it on the record. You know, I wasn't telling nobody to go out and do nothing stupid, but all I was saying is those books lies a lot of things that are valid for what we talk about as far as structure and unity. Of course. As far as what's going on, you know, what we need to do. First of all, I think, you know, I tell a lot of people, right, whether, you know, when we was in the streets hustling, whatever the case may be, right? You know, people always thought a lot of times in our environments, we think everybody's supposed to be the same way. You know what I mean? Everybody gonna be this. I used to tell my homeboys, everybody ain't a gangster. We need somebody to operate the computers. We need somebody, the accountant that's gonna count the money, or we need this. We need various things that they do for what they do. I don't need him to do the thing. You know what I mean? Or I don't need him for this. I need him for that. So I say that to say we need, you know, when we look at that, we need to look at how do we identify what roles each of us are willing to play. You know, Big U touched on that earlier. Like some people, you know, myself, you know, I'm working a lot, you know, 24/7. I'm sure every brother on here trying to make a way to feed his family and so forth every day, right? But what I've learned, and I said, you know, is that I'm going to play whatever part I can. Some days I can't go out and be on the front line, but I can send over a check that's helping them on the front line. I can send over a truckload of bottled water. I can make sure that the right, you know, legal team is intact. You know what I mean? So if there's any issues. So we need to identify, first of all, who's in, and then identify what roles each of us is willing to play. You know what I mean? This is something, and like I said, it goes back to the 60s and 70s. This is what they were doing. They had the blueprint. You know what I mean? They put some things in place to you know, destroy that blueprint, but the blueprint was there of how we work together. You know what I mean? Because if you go back and you look at the 60s and 70s, think about it when you look at how James Brown was touched. When you look at the James Brown movie, when you look at the Ray movie, you know what I mean? Ray Charles movie, all of them, there was a period of time where even their music shifted. You understand what I'm saying? To support the Black movement. You know what I mean? When you look at Sam Cooke, and you look at these brothers and who they was all sitting down with each other. You understand what I'm saying? We got to be able to sit down with each other. You understand what I'm saying? We can't be divided on no level. Like we were talking about earlier with celebrities, we can't even outcast them, even though they're not ready or in a place to really step up the way we think they should. We still need them to be able to, and we need to still be able to have conversations with them.
Yes. All right, thank you for that, Tariff. Let Keith introduce yourself, bro.
Hey, what's up, brothers? How everybody doing?
Peace, bro.
Oh man, good, brother.
I'm from the South Side,
both of them,
Washington Road, old national area. You know, I've been building with Blue for about 4 years now, and then with Big U for the past 2 or 3 years. So we're out here in Atlanta with a movement called I'm a Father First, and we basically been doing a lot. You know, we've been doing haircuts for the kids on the West Side in their schools for free for the past 2 years. We cut about 40 kids' heads every other week. And then now we started the football league. But since this corona, we pivoted and started feeding. So we've been feeding. We went from feeding 10 families the first week to now we're feeding 51 families a week with lunch and dinner. And then next week we'll be up to 100. And the goal is by the top of June, we'll be at 1,400 meals a day. The program is called Meals of Love. So when we pull up to the houses, they're on Campbellton area, west side of Atlanta. These are mainly single parent households, average income under 20,000, general urban type of demographics. So we're providing meals, but we're also providing resources. We're providing resources for economic stability. We've hired about 10 people to drive the vans around and feed these families. So really what we've been working on from here to out there with Blue is trying to make that thing go around, really just step up with the food, partnering with the schools, partnering with the local authorities, and then really just doing whatever we can from feeding. And like you said, with the celebrities, Tariff, we have Jock, me and Young Jock grew up together. So Jock is actually providing the meals during lunchtime. His restaurant is South Beach, Atlanta on Old National. So he's doing the lunches. Then we partner with somebody else for dinners. So like you said, you got to use everybody. Some people may not be on the front line. Some people may have celebrity influence. Some people may be political. Some people may be street. But we just trying to merge everything. We just excited to build with all you brothers. Thank you for having me on the call with you guys.
Most definitely. I want to remind the panel that was good. Good work, Keith. I just want to remind the panel that we want to stay focused on the topic. We do enough attacking each other, and we're not doing that here. That's not what this is about. But y'all go on, carry on. Tariff.
I just want to jump in and say that there was instances, first of all, shout out to Rocky. I ain't sent him in a minute, Cabrini Green missed it. But there's been instances like since the 90s with these peace treaties and the impact it has had on the community, the positive impact, right? And earlier, I think I got cut off when I was referencing South Carolina with the Bloods and the Crips there about the flag, Baltimore with the Bloods and the Crips about the Freddie Gray situation, Ferguson with the Bloods and the Crips about Mike Brown, and there was numerous other cities like Chicago and Milwaukee with the G.D. Whites or the Stones coming together. But all of this was due to the police violence and the activity of these racist folks, right? I think that's been our greatest threat, in attacking this system is one, we got to know how to hurt them. And yeah, fear is a way to hurt them. But one of the greatest tactics I found that hurt America more than anything was during the Laquan McDonald shooting. It was Black Friday when we cost them $1 billion in Chicago on Black Friday. Police chief gone. They revamped their police department, promoted more black. Now that wasn't what we was asking, because we know that there's black officers, some of them worse than the white officers, right? But it's the instance like with the Freddie Grays and the Mike Browns and what happened with Laquan McDonald, where we find our unity, I strengthen our unity, you know what I'm saying? And I'm hoping that's what come out of that Georgia shooting again, right? Because we thought we had things in place after Mike Brown, after Trayvon, after all these shootings. We thought that we had an apparatus in place that when it happened, naturally the public would respond, and that hasn't been the case. And it's only because the streets haven't responded.
Anybody else want to say something?
Just going back to what we were saying too, in regards to us making sure listen, man, we all got to know that do what you can. You know what I mean? It takes me back to, and Blue, you know this because we talked about it when I first started going out to Chicago, right? And the reason I went out to Chicago, right, and you try to use the resources that I had at my disposal through Wu-Tang was because it was a young girl, I think 3 years old, was killed, right? And, I'm sitting in my living room, I have a certain level of comfort where I'm at and so forth. You understand what I'm saying? And it's easy for me to be able to say, hey, that don't concern me. But I couldn't say that. I couldn't sit back and say that because I got children. You understand what I'm saying? So I had to be able to say, man, if that was one of my children, you understand what I'm saying? So, you know, that's what caused us to start reaching out. Like I said, I can't be on the ground. And I can't. Can you hear me better now? Can you hear me now?
Hey, Kev, you hear that crackling? We can't really hear with the volume, man.
Can you hear me now?
There you go. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, you know, I just wanted to say that, you know, just keep hitting home that, man, do what you can, play your part in any way. You understand what I'm saying? One day you might be on the front line. You might be able to be on the front line. One day it's financial. One day it's you offering food. It's just having a mentality to know that you have to play a part each and every day. You understand what I'm saying?
Well said.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So,
sir.
Hey, JR, tell them what y'all doing out there with the housing and stuff. How y'all went over there and took that thing over out there in Chicago.
All right, can y'all hear me clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so like I said, you know, Pam was asking earlier, you know, I had the vest on. Yeah, I was at work. So one of the things we did, we like to jack people's stuff like they like to jack our stuff, right? So y'all familiar with the Habitat for Humanity model, right? We do a program called Hood for Humanity, where we get guys like myself, my brother, my cousin, the guys I grew up with who do construction, to adopt a guy off the block, right? Who maybe got kicked out of.
Yeah, he's out of there, Kev.
Yeah, we lost him. Go ahead, Loco.
Well, I mean, they answered Tariff, you know, that was my main thing, man, because, you know, from what I mean, you don't have to be no rocket scientist to figure out and see over the years that we've marched, we protested, we've done everything. We've seen panels, you know, and it's like, I'm pretty sure a whole lot of brothers in the ghetto that is watching, guys that's in the corporate offices, they want to know, man, okay, so we know all that. What are we going to do? And that's what the brother Tariff, you know, was kind of informing me on the ideas he had on that. Big U said some ideas that he had on that, and Joe Rockhead as well. Blue as well. So, I mean, you know, man, it comes down to, you know, like he said, a lot of us have preoccupying things that go on in our everyday life. So we're not going to be able to just be up every day with our T-shirts on with the picket line. You know what I'm saying? But others got to pick up the torch. Like you say, it ain't all about that either. It's about feeding people, brothers in Atlanta, and the things they got going on and stuff like that, man. It's just about taking steps forward instead of talking about it, being about it, is where I'm going with this, man. Because most of everybody in these comments, that's what they saying, man, you know?
Nah,
Yeah, I agree with you, man. It's about being proactive, man, in any way that we can to show our people that we care, that we do give a damn about them. You know what I mean? Because even when we talk about the little homies, they got this concept or this misconcept that, you know what I mean, we don't care about them and that we leave them out here on their own. You know what I mean? But that ain't the case. It's like we was mentioning earlier, you know, we coming back from that nightmare, you know what I mean, that we lived for 10, 20, 30 years, you know, so we finding our way and making our way, you know what I mean, trying to figure this out. And at the same time, we creating a new way, you know what I mean, and showing them a different example of what manhood looks like.
Yes, sir.
And you know,
yeah, Big U. Yeah, Big U said we need to have brothers from each hood stand together and refuse to let racism stand in these stations.
that's right.
Yep.
The thing is too, right, is just to add to that, Loco, right, is that it's consistency. You know what I mean? I think which you know, like you were touching on earlier, a lot of times, you know, we rise to the cause, but we don't maintain in that position, if that makes sense. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We'll rise up when needed, but then we die down and fall to the wayside. We have to understand that when we rise up, we need to continue to rise up and maintain that position at all times. You understand what I'm saying? Because we've seen plenty of examples before where we've risen to the occasion. You understand what I'm saying? But then it falls to the wayside, and then we see another occasion. We see something else happening. You know,
Right.
So we need consistency. Another thing too, because I seen a comment right real quick I want to touch on, right? And I speak on this a lot in Chicago, right? Because I see this in Chicago, right? And this isn't to take anything away from the brothers that are doing beautiful things. The brother like JR, right? But man, when you out there and you see the work that the women are putting in on a daily level, man, I'm telling you, man, it's heartfelt, man. These women on the front lines, brother.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they waiting on us to step up and
Right.
take the lead, And that's go back to something that Big U touched on earlier too, right? Briefly, that I wanted to just interject on too, right? Is that a lot of times fear has been implemented into our mindset as men, right? Because of whether we fear, a loss of finance, a loss of whatever the case may be, going back to jail, whatever the case may be. Because a lot of us that have come from those institutions or what have you, we in the mindset, keeping it 100, I ain't trying to go back to that. So a lot of times I may not want to get out there and help. Can you hear
Your
me?
volume is messing up.
Yeah, I apologize. Can you hear me better now? How about now?
Yeah, that's a little better.
Okay. Yeah, I think I got to keep my volume down, my voice. Like I said, man, and I preach this all the time, man. A lot of times I've been blessed. It's a rarity, but they've allowed me to go into the Cook County Jail on a number of occasions, right? And that's something that I continue to preach in there, man. We got all those brothers in these systems, man, and we need these brothers out on the streets, man. We need them out, coming out, because a lot of times, when you are in these situations of incarceration, you're able to get your mind right. You know what I mean? You're able to read books. You're able to, enhance your level of knowledge and intelligence in the way that you can deal with things, So a lot of times we have to look at it in the sense of, we need, I tell them all the time, man, brothers and sisters out there, they need y'all. So when you come out, get involved. Get involved in any way you can. And the brothers and sisters on the streets, get involved in any way you can. That I just want to keep pushing that. But like I said, the sisters, man, much respect to the sisters, man. They out here on the front lines, man, everywhere I see it.
Yeah, let me say this. There's a lot of females watching tonight, too, more than normal. But Tariff, I just wanted to come back and say this. It's not your phone. It's JR's phone. That's all the noise you keep hearing that's drowning Tariff out. Whenever I mute his phone or take him off, you guys don't hear that.
Right.
So you're all right, Tariff.
Yeah, look, and the thing is with this too is that, like we all know, we're dealing with an enemy that don't never rest, don't never sleep. He's always prowling, man. And that's why I like the work that JR is out there doing, because they out there taking properties and putting the sisters in properties, like them vacant houses, them vacant apartment buildings. I didn't witness JR. They taking them from the city and they sitting out there like, no, putting up, I'm talking about body protests, like, no, y'all ain't getting these. We gonna house these sisters that's homeless up in there. Talk to me about that, JR.
Let him know his mic ain't on. JR, turn your mic on, JR. Turn your mic on.
Okay, can you hear me now? Can you
Yes,
hear me
sir.
now?
Yes, sir.
I think it was about 15 years ago I ran into Rock and Cabrini Green. I was a young activist, right? And we was watching the projects come down. And I said to him and Jim Brown and them, like, this ain't over with, right? Wherever our people go, we gonna go. So we watched them tear down public housing, put our sisters on Section 8, and then kick them out during the foreclosure crisis, right? So first we got a homeowner who was a working class black person who thought they made it lose their crib. Then the tenant they got in Section 8 lose their crib, right? So we said enough is enough. You know, that if the banks can rob the country, we can rob the banks. So we told the banks, man, you might control Wall Street and all of that, but we control the blocks. And so we just organized street tribe members to say, look, man, if you ain't gonna let an op come over here and raise your mama crib, don't let these motherfuckers, people who call themselves bankers take this crib. And we wanted to show America that as much as you say there's negative about black men, look what we doing positive. Brother Tariff, I recognize what you said about the women. Rockhead will tell you, 95% of the people that raised me in the movement has been women. So because of that, it was a joke that a lady made to me. She was like, it's a shame that women keep losing their crib and you brothers ain't standing up for it. And here it is, you lived in our stomachs 9 months rent free. That didn't sit well with me, bruh. You feel what I'm saying? Then she broke it down to me. If you look at your life, whether it was a baby mama, a sister, a cousin, a mother, or an auntie, you have always not been the head of the household. You have not been allowed on the lease, but you have depended on them for housing. So how is it that you depended on them housing and you ain't doing nothing about them taking housing? So all you got to do is challenge IG one time. I'm from Cabrini Green, and we going to rise up to that challenge. And so we was fed up. We get brutal winters, right? Our people wasn't getting in the shelter. So we was like, what could we do? Man, it was 60,000 vacant homes in our city. So what we did was we organized the guys and say, what would it look like if we put our bodies in front of these cribs to stop evictions? 1. 2, when they evict them, what would it look like if we moved them back in the crib, right? What would it look like if the streets just start going in vacant houses, fixing them up, training the young guys on the block, you know, not just how to bag stuff up, but how to fix something up. And so we took a program called Hood for Humanity, teaching the young guys how to do the floors, how to do drywall, how to do landscaping, right? How to paint, so that they have a skill set in the event something happened to us. They have a skill set where they can go over and take over these cribs. Now, they don't give you nothing in America unless you're willing to take it. Because we took these properties, now our organization get all of the Fannie Mae and the Freddie Mac properties. We didn't stop there. We started protesting the housing authority for this law called Section 3. And it's a law that states that anybody of low income living in these communities where they're redeveloping that using HUD funds, they have a right to work. So we start educating our people and the guys on this law. Like, look, man, these guys coming over here getting $70,000 a year, $80,000 a year to build these cribs. That's like what you call an op coming over here, putting crack, heroin, or weed down. You ain't gonna let that happen. So how you letting somebody else come in the neighborhood get money that we could be getting? And so we begin to organize around economic development. And that's a lot of what people didn't want to hear. As long as we was protesting about the police violence, they was cool. As long as we was whining about social and cultural rights, they was cool. But the minute we started talking about peace, we call it peace, providing economic alternatives to criminal elements, right? That's our program, right? We say it's hard for a guy to rob you if he at work, right? It's hard for a guy to murder somebody if he at work. So what must we do to put our people to work? So we formed nonprofits, construction companies, and we took it upon ourselves to do that. And then we used the law to mandate that we get these jobs and opportunities, you know, and that's why the shorties and them tell us the only reason why they follow us because we feed them so we can lead them, right? And we don't do this and ask for nothing in return. I'm not giving you a job at $30, $40 an hour to ask for $5 back. That ain't what we asking back. We asking that you put the next man on and come back to school the holidays that you give something back. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I appreciate that, Blue. But that was something we had to do, man. It wasn't something that like, oh, this would be a dope move to do this right here. It was born out of necessity, bro. That's why we did that. We wanted to show the world. And it's funny you say that, Blue, because that's all they talk about is that we took over houses, fixed them up for women and children. They never talk about the skill set that these young men and women got to fix up these cribs that would give them sustainable employment, that would give them a trade and skill set. But like, again, it took the streets coming together to make that happen, man. Once the guys in every neighborhood were like, they with it, you know, it was a wrap from there, you know. But it was a way to organize our people and a way to put resources in our people's hands.
That's awesome, man.
Even what JR them did as far as like what we've been making the moves on the equity, as far as like what they doing with the masks and all that stuff. They went around there like, because you only got so many essential businesses open. So they went through there and told them, hey man, y'all gotta donate, bro. This is an essential business, and the people that come to this business are essential people, and they're the people of this community. So therefore, y'all got to give up something in order to continue to exist in this community.
And we did that with the cannabis corporations, right? We sat back and let them check their bags, and we use this word equity a lot, right? Social equity, meaning those disproportionately impacted by the war on drugs shall benefit from the revenue made in the cannabis industry. Again, a lot of activism, all of the sides coming together to say, look, man, I had 16 charges. It was in the paper about this before my expungement got happened. I had 16 charges for this. And so we wanted to make sure in the law that those who was charged with marijuana, crack, and heroin can have an opportunity to apply for a license. Again, equity. And then after we got that in the law, we waiting on our licenses. In the interim, we told the cannabis corporations, since you're an essential business and you're doing some essential numbers, you're going to have to give back something to the community. So we've been hitting them for $1,000 for gift cards, protective cloth masks, the disposable ones, making them with the hood and donate to the hood. We started with the cannabis corporation, the casino next, and we at the liquor stores and grocery stores, right? Our piece with the liquor stores and the grocery stores is that we don't just want you to donate. We want you to put products in your store that's going to boost our people's immune system, right? See, they get us off miseducation. And so it's our job to educate the people. So we tell them you got to have your vitamin C product. You got to order watermelon. You got to order things that's going to help boost our people's immune system, one. And two, we want to see you cleaning your stores, your floors, and your doors every day in our neighborhood, because our people use more convenience stores and gas stations than they do regular stores. And then sometimes they forget.
We can't hear you. Hold on 1 second. Hold on, JR. Hold on, because we can't hear you.
Go ahead. We hear you. He couldn't hear you. JR.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
We hear you.
Okay, so that's something I want to emphasize to everybody. Throughout this crisis, we should make sure that our stores, where our people are frequenting, that these are, regardless of the race of the owner, that they're cleaning their stores and their shelves and their doors, and that they're respecting the dollar that we bring in. And also that they giving back, man. This is a time where everybody should be giving back.
But JR, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Let me tell y'all something, man. I said this a while ago. I'm going to say it again. Chicago's made differently than LA. I can't speak for no other state, but I can speak for LA County. Chicago is made differently. How they get their aldermans on and how they move. We are so fucked up in our own ways in LA, spoiled LA County, to a way that for us to go to a store in our neighborhood at this time, it's night and day.
I can't hear Rob.
You can't hear me?
I
Can you hear me?
I hear you good.
But it's night, but it's night and day, because the people here is not going to respond like the people in Chicago. It's a difference. They condition it's about our conditioning. Chicago gangsters, gang world, or brothers who grew up in them eras or grew up around it, they were made differently than us in LA County on the West Coast. 100%. You know what I mean? And even it's like I met some people today. I was in Compton earlier. Kev, when we called, you texted me, and I met a guy who wants to feed 500 families every 2 weeks in Compton. Then he want to start picking other areas, and he took me to the trucker a dude that owned this truck company in Compton. And this dude was like mine. He was Iranian. He said, man, I want to feed every week 200 or 300 people in Compton. He said, I'm willing to go to a business that's not making money, a restaurant like not making money, and make a deal with them where people will come, 300 to 500 people come there a day and get free food, and I'll front the bill. We as Black men, our celebrities, or our musicians, however you want to look at these people, why they don't think like that? So I asked dude, I said, how old are you? He said, I'm 33. He said, I'm 33 years old. So you got a young Iranian dude trying to and want to give back. And then we have all these other cats that claim us on TV, claim us in their music, and what they do. And I told dude, I could get you 500 families. For the last 2 Sundays, a little Italian dude, 34 years of age, Rock, man, I want to try to help out somehow. Take me to a grocery store, and I want to give out $100 bills and help their grocery. We did it for 2 Sundays. It ain't much, but it's something. Whatever reason why he chose to do it, he did it. But we sit on our butts and we try to figure shit out. Yeah, we strong enough mentally, but every time it's time to put down and shut up and put up, physically, we disappear. And the shit saddens me because I know what's going on in Chicago. I know I was there and I saw what them brothers did. They showed me so much respect and love to GDs, BDs, the Vice Lord, the Rukins, all of them. Showed me utmost love. And some
We
of
love
the
you,
shit,
Rock.
most definitely, some of the shit they showed me, I said, man, if we could ever understand and get certain concepts done out here like they got, we could take and control our cities.
We can, Rock. We can do that, Rock. We just got to do what we doing. You know what I mean? It's like what I think it is that we transfer that power, not understanding that the power is with us, Rock. You know what I mean? And we delegate that to someone else when, like you said, we the ones that move the crowd. We the ones that validate and get the credibility where it goes. But at the same time, we're the same ones that in the community that we have the license to operate and move around like we do, not just in our community, but in all communities.
Yeah.
So look, Keith, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Can you hear me, Keith?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, man. The volume will be freezing up, but I'm gonna try to get this across, man. Okay, so what steps did you guys to get in that position to be able to deliver all the meals and stuff, man? Gradually, I see y'all built it up, but what steps did you take for maybe
Can y'all hear me?
be somebody out there that wants to start doing it for their community?
Yeah, we hear you. We hear you.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
all right. Y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So it started from a young lady.
Yeah, we out of there on the volume. Kev.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
It started like you said, somebody said about the ladies. A lady tagged me on Facebook, said she wanted to feed a few families. Instead of just getting the 4 or 5 families that she had worth of food, we started pooling our resources. And those 4 went to 11. And then the superintendent of Atlanta Public Schools called me and said, Keith, shut that shit down. You're going to kill all the black people. And I thought she was being racist. When she sent me the message, I was taking that so negatively. But she had already saw trends of how we were going to spread more quickly in the hoods because of the sanity issues, you know, cleanliness. So I told her I can't stop feeding because I got people calling me need food. So the next morning, after she told me to stop feeding, she said, all right, Keith, what you need to do this in a healthy way. She gave us a $25,000 grant to keep going. So she gave us 25. Later on that week, we got another donation from somebody in her resources, a white person who gave us $15,000. Later on that week, Mercedes-Benz came in and donated sprinters. Then T-Mobile came in and gave APS $20,000, and they gave me 10 of it and gave another black organization that feeds the West Side 10. So we went from that, and then next thing you know, another call came through, and we got a 7-figure donation to be able to do this, guys. So really, the reason I guess Blue wanted to make sure I was on the call is to see how we can implement this seriously. Because all of my support, like Rock said, has come from white folks, guys. And Blue, Big U, all of them have come out here with me, and we messing with the mega pastors. We messing with the athletes, the entertainers. But ain't nobody moved nothing. So when it came time to feed these people, it was someone who had the resources. So I think a lot of times we got to start condemning black people for not doing because we grew up without nothing. So our only instinct is to hold on to what we do have. So I think it takes, like I told brothers, and Blue knows, I went from being the broke community activist to now all them coming to ask me for jobs now. But that's right. That's the wrong mentality. Instead of asking me for a job, let's see how we can pool our economics together and really start scaling this up. So like brother said, they're feeding however many families a day or a week. We're feeding 1,400 lunches, 700 lunches, 700 dinners. But what I did, I've been pulling up on the corporations, to the politicians, to my street homies, and saying, who gonna step up? Now, in that process, you got some people who looking at you as a bag and they want to get in it. You got some people looking at you as an ally and they want to see how to strengthen what they're doing. And then you got other people who just listening and they ain't got no idea what the fuck to do. So what we got to do is we got to compile the people who literally want to put up some economics and literally want to share some resources and take it from the streets all the way to corporate. Because guys, the person who gave us the money is government. And who the fuck knows why they gave what they gave, like they said, like whoever said that. But we know we're putting it to work. Anybody who knows us know we on Washington Road, we on Old Nat, we on Bankhead, we on MLK, and we're literally delivering to these people's houses lunch and dinner twice a day. So to me, it's just from that point, how do we move that around the country? Because I'm not strong if it's not done around the country. If it's only done in my backyard, it's temporary. But how do we make it a mainstay? Because like OG Rock said, we got to police ourselves. I got brothers out here marching, but I ain't lying. I'm not really with that, guys. I want to understand how can we pull our money, make our own government mindset, and how do we set our own hierarchy following under leadership to make sure the power is transferred across the country in a structured way. So I'll stop there, but I'm excited to learn where we're gonna go from here.
Man, you ain't got to stop, man. Hey, that was all right there, man. That's what's up, man. Much respect for that, Keith.
Hey, thank you, Loco.
Yeah, I commend you on that, Keith. Sticking with it and the mindset you got. That's great.
Thank you.
I just had another guy on my other platform talking about all his funding came from white folks, and people was on his head about it. But it is what it is. Because
it is what it is, bro, because it ain't gonna come from our people until they see other people do it.
Exactly. So yeah, I commend you, brother. Keep doing what you're doing.
Oh yeah, and I can't do it without the streets though, so I need y'all.
And what we need to do is and no, I don't know which way, what type of way we can do it, but when these people do donate, and these white folks, these Caucasians, and you know what I'm saying, the guys that's in the athletics and sports and music and all this that's ignoring us, we need to blow them people up, man, and really raising people up high and let them know, put it in their face, like, man, y'all really gonna let these people do what y'all supposed to be doing.
That's all me and Blue been preaching. Me and Blue met through me doing sports marketing. And I worked with guys who got $25 million contracts and wouldn't even put 100 in the hood. Like I'm literally talking to a kid who got his wire that day. But if you try to ask them something, they can't do nothing. But you best believe when they go to LA, they call them Blue and Big U so they can move around. So at the end of the day, we got to just change the dynamics. You know, the culture can't be sold by us or them. And I think that's ultimately the problem. It's up for lease too often.
You know,
And like you said, it's creating systems within systems. And like Keith said, shoot, I'm watching his players that play for the Chargers and Rams. I'm holding them down.
Right. And when they get in domestic violence, they agents saying fuck them. Blue pulling up at their house at 1 in the morning to keep them from going to jail. But now will those same brothers give into what we're doing? Probably not. But what we have to do is continue sowing, because one person can change 1,000 people's wrongs. One right can change 1,000 wrongs if you really have a unified structure once that right is delivered. So I think we have to have an execution plan and a strategic plan the same way the government has. So I've been learning from how the school system works. I've been learning from how the government works. And I've been learning how the streets work. So I'm tying them three understandings together for a higher understanding. And when you know how government works and how those laws and policies are passed, you know who's funding who, you can really create a little connected dot to change the game. So by September, guys, we will have probably fed over 100,000 people and probably about 2,000 families, and with resources. And with my brother JR, what y'all doing in Chicago, we got to implement that here. Because
I got it for you. I got a fill in for you. I got a plug for you right now. It's called Community First Fannie Mae. We are in Atlanta. You know, I did work down there for, back and forth for 10 years, around that Beltway, a lot of human rights work and a lot of public housing work with the Bowen homes.
That's exactly where we at.
Miss Hightop went over there. So I want you to plug in this program called Community First. Just like we get the property from the Fed, y'all can get the property in all y'all respective cities, and I'm willing to walk y'all through that process. Blue will tell you that. But we definitely want to connect on that feeding the people, bro, for sure. And I definitely want to make sure we getting the houses here, y'all getting it. Now,
what you say it is, JR? Community First, what? Fannie Mae?
Yeah. Now, I got another plug for you. That construction stuff I told you we was doing with the Housing Authority.
Yes, sir.
You can look it up. We did $128 million for black contractors in 2018. You feel what I'm saying? Now watch this.
Yes, sir.
The guy who made that happen is not a head of the Housing Authority in Atlanta, Eugene Jones. So I want to make that plug with you. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we do Blue will tell I do international human rights work and national work around making sure our people get contracts and opportunity. But there's also something you can share with me. I definitely want to know how we can feed our people here and connect you with some of the groups on the ground here trying to do that to take it to your level. And this program is in LA, New York, Chicago, Atlanta, everywhere there's black folks, we made sure the program with there. So utilize Blue, get my information, and we'll definitely put that program out there. Community First with Fannie Mae, bro.
Okay. And to that,
you're welcome.
We're gonna put another head on that monster right there, because me and Big U, we got a few artists that owe us a few favors. So we're gonna do some concerts and bring some situations to the table once this thing is over with and we strategize together.
Yeah, and see, that's another thing, guys. I really want to get together with the influencers so we can do something, what they call it, like viral online. Because right now, people at home. I just left with my boy who is working with Lil Baby and them. You know, these OGs they so-called look up to. And people say they're going to be their managers. They're going to be their this. Right now, we just need some creative, quick ideas. You guys, the money is flowing fast right now because people are panicking and they don't know how to work in high-stress situations. So what you got to understand is the environment that's created is what we've learned how to adapt to our whole lives. So we should be at a position of advantage right now. So we have to get those social influencers to really promote what we're doing because you're at home. Everybody's at home. So we need to make sure instead of just doing songs and doing all this other stuff, and doing whatever foundation work your business manager sends you, who's normally Iranian, Lebanon, or something of that background. Do something with your people. But we got to really structure a coalition, and that's why I've been following Blue and Big U the past 4 years to understand, how do we take the influence? I'm not the person everybody gonna pick up the phone for until I got an M. But now we got to make sure we're using the people who have the influence to turn it into real social equity, like my brother said. I learned all that following Kareem with the cannabis stuff. I never even heard of social responsibility, social entrepreneur, social equity. But when you learn those terms and you learn what data is equated to what line item, which means your paper, then you're going to study that stuff like the same way we study our other moves. So we got to create routes, man. We got to create routes of these meals from LA all the way to College Park. And if that's done properly, guys, we don't have to wait on anyone to fund us because it's already interrupted the system.
Yep. And that's one thing I like about Tariff. That's one thing I respect about Tariff and the Woo, is that they always been right there on ground zero level in the streets.
Brother Tariff. Now you in New York?
I'm in LA right now, though.
That's what Tariff at New York?
I'm in LA.
He in LA right now.
I can't hear him.
You hear me?
What the brother? I couldn't hear Tariff.
I said
he's in LA right now, but he is based out of New York.
Yeah, we just raised $200 million for NYC, right? And that's New York City Housing Authority. But out of that money, 10% is supposed to go to the Section 3 businesses in your community. So New York is the epicenter of a lot of funding. So I want to make sure your people plugged in there, and I want to connect with you offline because and see where our similarities are in New York, and see how we can plug in together there too with some of the people I'm working with, not just in the housing but the cannabis industry.
Yeah, I want to also, definitely make sure that we connect. We can, even if we do a Zoom or something, all of us offline, because we're about to right now implement this virtual platform that we're about to do, the Wu-Tang, right? Raise money for everything that we're talking about here, the Feed the People movement, getting the essentials and all that we need, to survive during these times, right? So I definitely want to connect with all of y'all on that, as far as, because when we get this thing moving, we're trying to implement something that's going to be with the World Health Organization, Facebook, and a bunch of other brands. So that's in the works right now. So I definitely want to connect with y'all on that so that we can make sure that it is going to where it's needed. And y'all brothers already have a system in place of knowing how to funnel those resources.
Sounds good. Well, I'm gonna let y'all know, man, on this end right here, man, down here in the southern region of Texas, I'm on deck, man, to carry the torch down here. So I'm ears open and everything we gotta have to do or whatever, keep correspondence, man, with me and Cav Mack, and I'm sure Rockhead and everybody else gonna be on deck for it, man. So
if that's what you want.
Yeah, we're Cav Mack. We all on that. I know a bunch of us is on that text thread too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we can add, if it's brothers that ain't on it, maybe we add them to that too, so that we all on that text thread as well.
Hey, Slugg, you there? Tony? Oh, that's Keith?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But no, like you said, Reef, we got to just be able to implement these different strategies and these synergies. And I think that's the dynamic thing. Like Keith said, that, we built for these situations right here, bro. You know what I mean? As far as these conditions right here, these are normal for us, bro. So, we thrive in these conditions right here. So out of this, there's no reason we shouldn't have a system to where And you know, when we talk about creating systems, we're talking about something that if I step to the side or someone step to the side, it's on
Hey, fellas,
autopilot. It's
I
still
just got,
going.
I'm in the
And that's
crib. I
and
ain't
that's the
really
thing
had
about
dinner.
it is
I got
that
ready to jump off, but I want to continue to build with you guys, man. Please pass my contact information on, and let's keep this going, man. Our biggest power and strength is our unity.
That's right.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm at you, JR.
Yeah, please connect me with everybody, Blue and Kev Mac. I appreciate y'all in Kenya, man, what y'all doing. Blue has told me about everybody on the line over the past 3 years. So I definitely appreciate what you brothers do. You know, I'm not a marcher, political activist. I'm just a street type of brother from College Park that had business ambitions, and now it's about my people every single day. And I promise you guys, with the right strategy, it's more than enough jobs, resources, and I knew this before this opportunity. So now with this opportunity that has come over the past 5 weeks, I want to share it. Blue know I've been trying to do this since day one, but I guess our people are only trained by money or like things they see. So if we can put a structure together, we can really scale this. And I really want to take it across the country because I know my baggers definitely want to go across the country. They don't just care about the west side of Atlanta. You know, people used to ask me, why you in LA doing this? Why you in Chicago? Why you wherever doing this? I'm like, I just love black people. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, if I see a kid in LA that I can take to a football game with a player I know, we're going to take them to the game. Me and Blue going to take them out to eat. You know what I mean? Whatever we can do, because like y'all said, as long as you start, man, when you start, that path going to get so clear just by knocking down the trees daily. So whatever I can do, we're looking to do in the housing, JR, we need that information, and we'll do our research to bring it to the team. And then we're working on a farm down in the country so we can grow our own food. My partner got a bunch of land he's gonna let me tap into now. So we really want to do it from the agriculture to the feeding to the employment to the housing. So whoever has wisdom in those areas, I just know that's what's needed, and I'm willing to put in what I can put in to be able to spread it.
You
I
know,
like that. And what's your name, brother?
Keith Lewis, I'm out of Atlanta, but my organization is
Okay.
I'm a Father First. But I'm Keith
Okay.
Lewis from College Park.
Now, I got you. Now, I mean,
I didn't put
Right.
y'all on the line. I didn't put y'all on the line together before, right?
Yes,
I
sir.
figured that. But
Yeah, we talked before, Rob.
you know what's so crazy? You, how old are you?
39. I'll be 40 next month.
How old are you now, JR?
47.
I
47.
mean, how old are you again, Loco? Well, Loco on there? Loco,
Yeah.
how old are you? Huh?
45. I'm 45.
All right. I asked that because I'm 58. And it's very rare to find young black men is what at a place in your life at this time mentally. And we need so much more of it. Let me tell y'all about my nephew Blue. When I first got out, you know, he bought me off from my drawers on up. He had $50 in blue rag, $100 in blue. As each blue rag got empty, he opened another blue rag had money in it. And Blue said, don't go back to Compton. I got you. Don't try to sell nothing. Don't try to do nothing. I got you. He's always had that mind.
Yeah.
And me being stubborn and hard-headed, I took my dumb ass back to Compton. When I didn't have to. You get what I'm saying? And to know my nephew and how really deep down and dirty and brilliant he was, but to see where he's at today and see how he put all of us together to collaborate, to build, and to grow.
Right.
Man, y'all brilliant, man. And we got to get more like minds like us to really get involved and really push. and really build and really grow. The shit Big U does. You know what I mean? Yes, he's a, you know, people look at him as a intimidated force, but Big U is a cat with a passion. And it seemed like all of us with a passion, people throw rocks at us. But in reality, we some passionate ass guys who want the best for ourselves and our communities.
Yes, sir.
And I used to bash them dudes, the Dre's and all that shit. Someone, oh, Dr. Dre, he gave Compton 140,000 on meals. Well, you know, he's worth $1 billion. You know what I'm saying? I mean, go get a couple of restaurants and say, y'all feed them, and I'm gonna take care of this and that. But my point is, everybody want to be from somewhere. But you got young cats like y'all is where y'all want to be. In your streets, in your hoods, in your communities. Dealing with the mothers, dealing with the women, dealing with the kids. I mean, what more can they ask from us?
Right.
They not gonna give us shit.
Nothing.
But we gotta do it. As long as we do it the right way, no one could beat us, man. We've always looked for, like, it's like Jim Brown said, immediate gratification. Everybody wants that quick fix, but everybody want to go through that step-by-step process to get where you at today.
Yes, sir.
It's a process. We on a journey. We ain't trying to reach no fucking destination.
Right.
Journey. And long as we got minds like y'all, man, I'm game for everything y'all talking about. Anything I could do. When I build this relationship with this new cat I met with today, I'm gonna try to touch every fucking part of LA County I can.
Yes, sir.
One dude I met today, he said every 2 weeks, but the guy at the truck company, I want to do something every week. You know what I'm saying? Can you add DBAs to your nonprofit 501c3? That's what he asked. I want to create a situation where I can raise money for each city. If I'm dealing with Compton, if I'm dealing with Long Beach, I'm dealing with LA, I want to create a DBA where the money goes to each one of that, where you can affect the cities and feeding families every day. And that's a 33-year-old Iranian motherfucker. I mean, that's not bad. So I just appreciate y'all, man. Like when I got a text that y'all gonna be on there, I didn't know JR was gonna be on. He was a little pup back then, you know.
I grew up, Rock. I grew up.
I see.
They said I thought that all right.
But he out the kennel now. He out the kennel. Hey, he out the kennel now.
But you have to understand, JR, the way y'all were built out there, the way they prepared y'all. I'm gonna give y'all a little joke. I remember the mansion, JR?
Yeah, the Swift Mansion, 45th.
The mansion. I went up there and met with everybody. And they had this little chick. I'm gonna tell you, I had this chick waiting on me. They had this chick waiting on me. And some dude came in with some ring. Oh, they meeting? Okay, told the chick to come to him. And everybody said, no, man, she was for the guest. He took the chick anyway. They woke me up at 3 in the morning before I could watch this movie with a pumpkin head. And he had, that's how serious them brothers are out there. They were out there, man. They did not play. They didn't care what rank and file you had. If you violated, you got discipline.
That's right. That's right.
No matter. That's why I say it again. The Chicago culture is a tad bit different than ours, the way the brothers had to come up. So I truly, like I said, I truly commend you. We got to talk.
Hey, there we go.
Yes, sir. And you inspired us too, Rock. Know that.
Hey, how my brothers doing? All right there, Rockhead. All right there, Blue.
Yeah.
All right, all right, brothers.
Peace and blessings.
Yeah, I mean, I did it. I joined late, All right now, and plus, you know, my internet is constantly. I'm trying to get this Ethernet. That way I can join you, brothers. Cause yeah, I heard it was real nice.
Yeah, let me just add to what Rock said, man, about Blue, man. You know what I mean? And you know,
so we gonna stay connected. I appreciate y'all, man. I really do, man. I really do. You know, Rock, you inspire us too.
I have fun. Hey, JR.
Hey, I appreciate you guys for coming on. I'm not kicking you out, but we can start winding down now. Tariff, you're a good speaker, man. I want to get to know you better. Blue, I done already heard a lot about you. And the whole time, I didn't even know you was a nigga I've been hearing about for the last year. You know what I mean? JR heard a lot of good things about you. We can build on some things. And Loco could tell you about himself. But Rock here, you know you my guy. You know, we done got real.
Anybody talking?
Y'all can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
me and Rock here, we done got real tight over the last year and a half and close to 2 years.
All right. So look, man, that was cool, man. And appreciate that, man. Rockhead.
Loco.
Props or whatever, you know, to them brothers.
Hey, Loco. Kev Mack was saying something.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
Loco's Wi-Fi is tripping. So I understand.
Would you say it again, Rockhead?
No, I'm gonna talk to you later.
Right, exactly. Papa T.
What Papa T?
Hey, can you hear me? Let me say one last thing, right? Because it's all kind of on the back of what Rockhead was saying, right? And you know, that's why it's an undying love that I got for the brother Blue, right? And Blue can tell you the story, you know, of how we met. You understand what I'm saying? If we weren't men, and that's one thing I want to bring to the table, we were men enough to talk to each other because we met in a hostile environment or under a hostile situation. And we were able to talk as men and bring that situation to a head to where now this is my brother right here. I'll do anything for this brother. You know what I mean? But it could have, if we wasn't smart enough to be able to talk to each other as men rather than just jumping in first, looking at some type of violent remedy or whatever. You understand what I'm saying? If we were in it under pride or this or that, egos or anything like that, we laid all that down to talk to each other like men and understand, man, I don't want to see no harm come to you as a black man. I hope you don't want to see none come to me. You understand what I'm saying? And that's how, like I said, nowadays, so it go back to what we're saying about all this, you know what I mean? We got to lay down that shield of ego or whatever the case may be so that we can be able to communicate, to be able to do, you know?
Yeah.
And like I said, man, you know, Blue, my brother, man, he called me about anything when we need to do it. If I can do it, I'm gonna do it. You know what I mean? And you know, I'm, you know, just in ending, man, I'm humbled and I'm thankful to be in the presence of y'all. I'm humbled and thankful to have the opportunity to even speak with y'all tonight. You know what I mean? And I'm here. Blue, no, man, if I can help in any way, you know what I mean? I'm there. It don't matter. It don't have to be New York. It don't have to be LA. It don't have to be Chicago. Anywhere, man. Anything I can do. I'm in Chicago, you know?
Appreciate you, God. And the crazy thing about what Tariff was saying is that when we met, it was a situation where it was about to be worse than the Biggie and Tupac thing. It was about to divide the West Coast and the East Coast on some real, not no rap shit, but some whole other shit. You know what I mean? We was able to see eye to eye and recognize the soldier in one another and come to amicable terms. And We road dogs. We rolls now. You know, we didn't have many late night conversations. You know what I mean? My brother that did a violation came home and we've been chopping it up. You know what I mean? It just continue to build over years, and we talking years ago. So yeah, man. We're gonna continue to build on this, man. And this is part of what we do and what we talk about. And me, if I have anything I'd like to leave for anybody, I want to be able to take to where we take that fire of destruction, turn it into a fire of construction, because that fire gonna be in us regardless. We can't get rid of that fire. That's who we are
There it is,
as a
right there.
people.
That's us.
But my thing is this: is that we take that and we continue to build on that. And as far as from the red and the blue side, I want to be able to see us take that and turn that around and bring it back to its original context of what it was originated for, and that is to be pillars of the community, the go-to in the community, and the heart and the pulse of the community that we are, and to where, kind of like you take the Hell's Angel, you take the Mafia, and even take the Klan. You know what I mean? They are who they are in their community to protect and serve their community. I want that to be our legacy from each borough, each project, each street, each neighborhood we from. We take that and turn that around and make that be something positive for our communities and building our communities, and let us be the agents, as me and Big you always talk about, the agents of change that help redirect that psychological thinking and redirect that physical violence and take that and put that into something constructive. And I'm through, bro.
All right, I appreciate you guys, man. Maybe we can do this again. And like Tariff suggested, you know, we can do something on a offline where we all can talk and get some things established. But I would like you guys to come back for part 2. We'll discuss that offline when you guys will be available to do this one more time. All you guys brought a lot to the table. Your words are encouraging, your stories are encouraging, and this is what the people like. So we can build from here. As far as I'm concerned, you guys, some of you guys already got things going, you know, but if I could be a part of that, that'd be good. I would like to at least include my subscribers into what you guys are doing and the progress that each of us have, because they're interested. There's a lot of people out there that want to be involved in something, but don't know how to get involved in it.
Hey, salute to you, Kev, for giving us this opportunity too, man. We greatly I greatly appreciate it. I'm sure everybody else does, but from myself, you know, thank you for the opportunity, man. Thank you for, you know, everything you're doing for the culture and spreading, you know, the message or whatever. Anything I can do to support, I'm here, man.
And again, from my behalf, I want to thank you too, Kev Mac, for expanding your platform and growing your platform, bro. Even in those times of doubt and uncertainty, because we've all had those. We've all been on the phone late at night not knowing where certain situations gonna go, bro. But we thank you, bro. And shit, we here at your service, bro, for anything you need, soldier. You know what I mean? Salutations for continuing to push forward, homie, with your vision and chronicling our historical data.
Appreciate it.
Hey, Tariq.
Yes, sir, brother.
You caught Blue at a good time. I remember at 1 in the morning, I was going to some girl's apartment. He texted me, "Unc, you slipping." Fuck you mean? He was in some bushes watching me.
But no, but let me tell y'all something, man. Kev Mac videos, Kev Mac. Since I've been coming on this thing on the Kev Mac videos, I get so much more respect in these streets from all colors, all red and blue. Man, we appreciate you. Rock, keep giving the mess, keep teaching. I mean, dude had all red on. Hey, homie, no disrespect, OG, but you Joe Rock, I said, yeah, man, thank you. I mean, he got something, man, and eventually somebody gonna see it and reward it the right way, where we can really make a difference. Because as long as we're able to communicate, as long as we're able to share our messages, share our stories, and the more people that hear it, then the more people gonna want to help. the more people are going to want to step out that little box they in and realize that there's something going on that they need to and want to be a part of. You know, but I appreciate y'all. Like I got the text. You know, I said, Ken, put me on Rock. You know, I said, no, put me on anything. You know what I mean? Because I love this. I love when I hear like minds as Shard. When I hear my nephew talk, man, it fucks me up. Y'all don't get it.
Well, you know, Rock, you started this, homie, planting this seed into me, and even in the way, in the direction, and how I treat my young homies from when we was able to exchange dialogue from when I was in YA and you
Thanks
was in
again,
prison.
everybody, for having us on, having me on.
You planted them seeds with me, as far as the stand that you took for what was right and what was wrong, and standing against that and standing for that. I was able to take that and implement that into the way that I deal with my comrades and deal with all people.
Yeah, I appreciate it, nephew. All right, Loco. What you got to say, Loco?
Loco might be froze. Papa T, you missed a good live, man. A lot of people have asked for you to be on here tonight.
I know I did.
Bro.
I know I did. I'll catch the next one.
Okay.
I'll catch that next one.
Yes, sir. I just want to start off, man, by letting everybody know, man, I really got a lot of great information.
I'll definitely catch the next one, brother.
All right, I'm gonna kick you out, Papa.
Yeah, I'll catch that next one. I'll make sure I get the plug I need.
All right, for sure. Go ahead, Loco.
Go ahead, Loco.
Hey.
Go ahead.
Cowgirls.
We'll say that for the other channel. Well, all right, Tariff and Blue, I appreciate you, brother. Y'all keep doing positive things, and like I said, let's at least make contact off the line. And
oh yeah, man. Hey, I appreciate everybody tonight, man, on this panel. I appreciate it. I'm out of there.
All right. All right.
Hey, Blue, give JR my number.
All right, peace, y'all.
I'm gonna post everybody together.
All right.
I'm gonna send out a major text. Kenya sent out a major text. Kenya.
All right.
Thank you, Kenya.
Yeah, thank you, Kenya. And you be sure to include us all in that text message, Kenya, please.
Who's Kenya?
You know who she is.
Thank you, Kenya.
All right, Blue. Hey, Rockhead, we going on the Black Channel, KM Live Streams. If you want to join us, just call me or text me. For all the Mackies and Maniacs in attendance, we're going over to the other channel for about an hour and a half. Appreciate, man. Now you clear as hell, Rockhead. I'm mad at you. Your shit look like high definition now.
I was cleared in.
No, you wasn't. But
it do look clear now.
You know, the Steelers never look clear on my screen anyway.
Oh, shit.
But all right, y'all. Thanks for checking in, y'all. We had a serious conversation, a little over 2 hours. I thought it was needed. Hopefully we can build from here. And man, these brothers got food programs. They got funding. They got the knowledge. They got the know-how. They got the spirit and the inspiration to really get out there and make things happen. And such a small world. Rockhead knew all these dudes on the panel, which is big and shows you how connected Rockhead is. And so as long as Rockhead got the connects, I know I got the connects, because Rockhead ain't no hater. He's about building. And these and the one, well, actually the two people that really brought us all together will be Kenya and Big U. So again, I have action to speaking to all these guys. So if you guys have any questions, just get at me, and I'll try to get them answered for you. And we're gonna try to build. I don't know what we're gonna build, but it gotta be good for the community all across the nation. So I thank all of them brothers for coming on tonight. Anything you want to say in closing, Rockhead?
All I gotta say, well said, Kid Mac. Video.
Appreciate you, bro.
Appreciate you, man. Trust me. All right, big dog.
All right, peace. That was cool.